All right, this is Rosie's Roadmap to Success video, and the Guardians contacted us to help out with her overexcitement and then loose leash walking. So I want to refer you to the video above this one on how to do the structured walk with a martingale collar. Again, I usually just keep the leash attached to it because this just slips on over her head, and then you use that secondary loop like that. So go ahead and watch that video for that. The other thing we did to help with the structure or the loose leash walking is, remember, we took the treats and held them kind of in front of us and asked her to sit, and then we took steps backwards and asked her to sit, and we started making this a game. And that just teaches her for fun to stick with you and be engaged with you, and so she wants to be right with you. So you can keep up with that because it's only going to help her walk better on the leash anyway, and it's kind of a fun game. As you get better at it, you can start turning sideways more so she is walking right next to you. And then when you stand still, have her sit, give her a treat, and then you can start kind of putting on music, dancing around the house. Just make it fun. The more engaged you are with her and the more fun she has with you, the better behaved she'll be and the better she'll be right next to your side. The other thing that we wanted to do is I want you to practice the leadership exercise at least once a day with each guardian for the next 2 weeks. And then for maintenance, I would still keep up with that and doing that exercise at least like once a month. We did discuss that you can kind of transition this to her food bowl. So go ahead and put her bowl down, wait for her to lay down, and then give her permission to eat. So that way you're kind of building that into a normal routine. You're not adding on too many other things to do with training, but it's that constant reinforcement of the leadership dynamic in the home to look to you guys for direction. And then permission to eat when she's able to. Remember, part of the important part of that is that it teaches her delayed gratification and that kind of emotional response to calm down, so she doesn't just have an impulse and say I want to eat, so I'm going to run over and take my food. She has to pause for a second, wait, and look to you guys, and then you guys give her permission. That's going to help her reduce anxiety and just kind of build up that impulse control as well, which is really great. You can use the escalating consequences, which is, again, 1, you hiss, 2, you stand up abruptly, face her, make sure shoulders and hips are square to her, and then you march towards her as the 3rd level. And then if she turns this into a game of running around the house and trying to get away with certain things, you can use the leash timeout. And remember, hold the leash until she lays down on her own, and then you can take the leash off afterwards. And this is just to disagree with her. So if she's barking at the window, you can disagree with her and essentially think of the window as being like a privilege. She can be there if she's quiet, but if she can't lay there and be quiet and watch out the window, then she doesn't get to be over by the window. You can also use this to create personal boundaries. So if you're sitting on the couch and you don't want her up there with you, you can tell her no and kind of use the escalating consequences to create a personal space bubble. You can use it by the front door, create that invisible boundary at the top of the staircase. You can really do this anywhere in your home, around the dining room table. So you can use the same method to teach her boundaries so she learns where she should be at different times. Remember to keep up with the rules, like no furniture without permission. So have her sit first and then give her permission to get up on the couch. And then that kind of goes along with our petting with a purpose technique. So remember to pet her for good behavior. So before petting her, have her sit first, and then you can start petting her, whether that's sitting on the floor or she's up on the couch or on your lap. Just have her sit first. It's helping her to essentially build up manners. That'll also help when guests come over, that she's not jumping up on them as much because she's learning sitting is what gets her attention. And then speaking of jumping up and guests coming over, you can practice when you guys come home to not pet her if she is jumping up. Because if you're petting her when she jumps up, you're rewarding that behavior. So just walk past her until she calms down and then pet her. So she learns that being calm and not jumping up is what gets her attention quicker and faster. And then when guests do come over, you can use that escalating consequences to keep her at the top of the stairs, and then ask them to not pet her until they get all the way upstairs and she's nice and calm. So that'll help her kind of build up that good behavior. Let's see, I don't think there was anything else. No. So lastly, I just want to say, remind you that everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it.